Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Piofiore 1926, continuing Henry's route, and everyone's alive! Quite possibly even the Phantom in this one. So this is exciting. Phantom's probably getting stabby with people, but all of our love interests are alive! This is our man harem! Listen, sorry Henry, you don't get your actual own ending, or your own route, this has to be the man harem one. And I know Alternativa should have been the man harem one technically, but you were dead, so like, we gotta do what we gotta do. So anyway, I returned to the housework after Henry left.
Hey, Space!
What is it, Sasha?
When I went in Henry's room and...
Huh? I'd often reminded the children not to enter Henry's room. To my astonishment, Sasha handed me an envelope.
This was on his desk. Did he forget to bring it?
I guiltily opened the envelope, discovering at once that it was his translated manuscript. Oh no!
Please, why don't you deliver it to him?
But...
Don't worry, we'll look after the house.
Yeah, sure, leave an 8-year-old in charge, it's fine. It's 1926, it's probably not as bad as doing that now.
We promised Henry to lock the doors and not go outside.
I glanced over at the clock. I had no idea who exactly he would be visiting today, but if I hurry, I might be able to catch him before he reaches town. Then, can I trust you all to stay safe?
Yeah!
I shouldn't be long. There are some something in the kitchen. Oh, God, sorry. I didn't read that because I was like, you can have them for lunch if I'm not back in time.
Something I can't pronounce! Yay!
Oh, and I forgot. Hold on. Oops. No, whoops. Sorry. I don't know. I can't read buttons. Oh, God damn it. Yeah! Welcome to the channel! Anyway. Light meal or snacks that can be made and enjoyed quickly, such as sandwiches. There are some Lunchables.
Lunchables! Yay!
Then I'll be going now.
Okay, be safe.
With that, I hurried outside with the envelope. Are you just going to sit on my shoulder the whole time preening yourself? Because it's a little weird. You're normally in my chest, jammed into my throat. The children's voices disappeared as they diligently shut the door behind me. Girl, you're going to have to get on your bike. Why don't we have a bike? This is exactly why we need a bike. I ran as fast as I could, but I couldn't find him anywhere on the road. His legs are also longer than yours. I arrived at the small town near our house. It had been so long since I was last here, I had almost forgotten how busy it was. And now the bird's on my chest, so gonna be in my face while I'm reading. Like, why are you sitting on my shoulder? It's weird. And then he comes here and you're like, also weird, but... Will I be able to find Henry in this crowd? Sorry, I'm looking for a tall, blonde, gorgeous man. I looked around, but everyone seemed to block my view as they went about their business. I should have asked where he was going. It's either Henry or Emilio. Spacey? Is it Henry? It's Henry. Okay. I was like, it could be Emilio, though. My first guess was Henry, but then I was like, I'm not sure because this would be the perfect time for Emilio to just pop up out of fucking nowhere. My heart leapt at the familiar voice. What a relief. He looked surprised as I approached him with the envelope in my hand. Yeah, he did. Look at the shock in his eyes. You left your work on your desk. Oh, now he looks sus. Henry took the envelope and seemed to hesitate for a moment. This is for next week. Oh. My face grew hot as I slowly processed the words he spoke. He's like, why were you in my room going through my desk? And you're like, well, actually, Sasha did. I'm so sorry. It was my mistake. You didn't need this today after all. No, you must have been so worried that you ran all this way. Thank you. Instead of scolding me for coming to town, he tried to comfort me. You know, props to you for not being like, I told you to stay in the house! He's like, how sweet. You could have died, but like, cool. Are the children still at home? Yes, they're inside with the doors locked. They should be eating lunch right now. He looked away and spoke somewhat briskly. And then, if you don't mind,
would you like to go out for lunch? I finished delivering my work.
Already? But Henry couldn't have been in town for very long. Maybe it was just a simple drop-off without any additional meetings to discuss future work. Although still a little puzzled, I responded, hell yeah, I'd love to go out for lunch. He's like, where are the children? At home. All right, let's have some time to ourselves.
I'm glad to hear it. What would you like?
Well, I've seen a cafe near here that I've always wanted to visit.
Is it the one with the red roof?
Yes, but how on earth did you know? It was incredible that he was able to guess it.
And perhaps it's because I'm always looking at you.
Spacey. Oh, well, I know, because he's never been romantic, and they're like, it's because I'm always watching you. Excuse me? What? Really? I searched for the right words before finally holding out my hands somewhat shyly. Could we hold hands? My God! The stone's on her in this round. Bravo! You know what I mean? Because to be honest, I mean, she's kind of a little bit of a church mouse in all the other ones. Which, to be fair, it's because she's a church mouse. So, like, I'm not begrudging it. You know what I mean? And, like, she's got moments of, like, sad. But she's generally, like, a little awkward and giggly. And, I mean, okay, fine, fair. I don't dislike her. I think for the type of character she definitely is, the shy and awkward and innocent like every other character, but for her it fits. So it makes sense. There's other ones where you're like, you should not be this much of a church mouse, girl. But for us, it's the 1920s and we were raised by nuns. So like, and in the church. So absolutely 100% on board with her being a slightly awkward little church mouse. Okay, got it. 100% here for it. Fits. Right? And like, I don't think, I mean, I'm sure we've had some times where she gets like a little embarrassed about things. It's like, all right, I'm gonna need you to stop that. But a lot of times when it happens, it makes sense for her. So like, for her being this, like, can we hold hands? But God, you're being a little brazen hussy over here. Damn whore. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, girl, I like it. Like, she is taking initiative. She's like, I want this man, and I will hold his hand. Gravity. Anyway. After a momentary hesitation, Henry accepted the hand I offered. Look at his little smile. It's so sweet. His touch was gentle as always. Thank you, Henry. Henry said nothing, but smiled kindly. We don't come to town often, but when the crowd was particularly big, he would sometimes take my hand. Henry probably doesn't know how happy I am when I'm able to hold his hand like this. Oh, I bet he knows. But, are you sure it's okay? What do you mean? I hadn't meant to ask the question aloud. I scrambled to collect my thoughts before answering him. I feel a little guilty now that I'm thinking of it.
Do you mean for leaving the children?
That too. Oh yeah, sure, right, them. They do their best to refrain from holding you, even though I know it's hard for them. And here I am, unable to resist asking. Can't help but want to hold his hand. I like that. Like, he'll hold our hand just to keep us from getting separated type of a thing. And we're like, can I hold your hand? He doesn't like to be touched. And she's like, I feel bad because I'm asking you to hold my hand and I tell the kids not to touch you. Like, I was behaving more childishly than the children.
And don't think of it that way. I'm the one who's been such trouble to all of you.
He squeezed my hand tightly. Henry looked at me with a pained expression, as though he felt suffering too great to share. Is something the matter?
No, it's nothing. I'm fine.
Really? Henry smiled and continued walking, holding my hand tightly in his.
You looked charming just now. Beautiful, in fact.
And now you're flirting with me! You're so confusing! I love it. My cheeks grew hot once more. Is he joking because what I said last night? Why else would he say it? Whether it was my imagination or a sincere hope, he actually sounded serious to me. I thought back to the morning when he and I walked along the seaside together.
It was just blinded by the sunlight. Or maybe I was just mesmerized by your beauty.
Like how they put question marks there, even though we... I walked beside him as he led the way, then looked up at him. Perhaps noticing, he turned to look at me with a tender expression. Suddenly, I could no longer think straight. Yeah, kind of feel that way every time he looks at us too. That afternoon, we had some coffee and a nice chat at the red-roofed cafe I'd longed to visit. We spoke about his translation work, our daily lives, and about the children growing up. As ordinary as our conversation was, it was a special moment that I would always treasure. How adorable. After a short walk out of town, we came upon the old church. I walked beside him, holding a box full of pastries. Everyone must be tired of waiting.
I'll apologize since I'm the one who kept you. I hope they'll forgive me with these canales.
I think they'll be very happy. Say, Henry... I slowed to a stop, wanting to tell him before we arrived home. Had a lot of fun today. Thank you. I'd be happy if we could go out again, if possible with the children as well.
Yes.
We let go of each other's hands. And it's also like people think in town we're married because they see us together and we're married and we've got 3 kids. Like, and they might know that we took the kids in. You know what I mean? Like, they're obviously adopted. Like, they probably know their parents and stuff. But like, what 2 random people? No, we're just we're just roommates. Yeah, sure, we were roommates. You know what that always means? Come on. So of course they think we're married, and then they see us holding hands and shit. So like, I'm just saying, there is a reason why the townsfolk get this idea. Wanting to ignore my own feelings, I hurried the rest of the way to the house. I'll prepare some coffee right away. Let's enjoy these with everyone before dinner. I smiled at Henry as I grasped the door handle. Spacey! Huh? He called out in a sharp voice, and I realized that it was meant to stop me, but I had already opened the door. A rusty smell filled the air. Oh my god, they did not kill the orphans! I'd fallen into a waking nightmare. A box of pastries left my hand, making a faint sound on the floor that didn't matter. Oh no, that's blood splatters. It was all red. Everything. I wandered inside this strange place. It was like our house, but the walls were red, freshly painted. Objects scattered across the floor were soaked in red. It dripped down from the kitchen table. I mean, I guess it's a good thing we left, but did he seriously come in here and butcher 3 freaking orphan children? That is just heinous. Colette? Tasha? Emma? The names of the children spilled from my mouth. My heart was seized with dread. The smell of blood filled my lungs. The house I had left this morning was nowhere to be found. My body reacted before my mind realized it. I lost all strength and crumpled to the floor. My stomach churned. I covered my mouth. I wasn't able to hold it back anymore. I could see more clearly now. What I saw scattered across the floor must be... Oh god. Human remains. Oh! Oh no! Oh dear god! What the fuck? Easy. Henry. I was trying so hard to endure my nausea, I couldn't expend any effort to speak.
I must leave this place right away. Before that, I'm going to check out the house.
He abruptly cut himself off. I'll go too. I feel like we should go too. Like, I feel like we should go with him. I don't think we should be alone. Did we already read the Meanwhile story window? I guess we did, because it says save file here. I don't remember reading that, I don't remember reading that side story, that one. Was that the one with, obviously it had to be with Marco and Roberto in the last part? But I don't remember it anyway. I'll go too. I'll go too. I managed to choke out a quiet response. Children must be afraid without us. We have to go to them right away. Oh, girl. Blood wasn't from the children. They must be hiding somewhere inside the house, completely frightened. Perhaps crying. I kind of feel like I hope they're traumatized in another room somewhere and not literally scattered across the house right now. Our eyes met and Henry knelt down by my side, touching my lips gently. He wiped my bottom lip clean with his finger and gave me his handkerchief without a word. I mean, my God, though, you just wiped vomit off my mouth. That's disgusting. I'm gonna gag. You...
And don't talk too much. Cover your mouth with this and don't take any deep breaths.
He reached out with his clean left hand and helped me to my feet. I kept my mouth covered with the handkerchief as he led me through the room. The floor was slippery where it was red, but there was hardly anywhere else to step. I proceeded as carefully as I could to not disturb what had been spilled, whatever it was. Moving deeper inside the red house, my fragile hopes were shattered. This is so... The children were in my room. Henry softly closed their eyes, which had been slashed. Oh! Why would the game do this? I don't like kids, but this is wrong. You killed 3 innocent little orphan children! Oh dear God! Okay, like, I do question myself, because you know damn well it's the Phantom. And like, he killed didn't he feed a child to a pig? Like, he fed someone to a pig and he did something horrible to a child in like the Alternativa route. And I was like, let's just pretend that didn't happen. But like, they make the man like super hot. And you're like, you can't go around killing orphan kids. Even Yang hasn't done that. I mean, Yang was selling women into slavery and shit. But like, somehow he is trash, but he didn't murder orphans. There was a line. And this is it. Like, God damn it, Phantom, why are you doing... They're going to show him without his mask, and he's going to be, like, so goddamn hot, and you're going to be like, I can't stop. You're not allowed to be pretty, and this fucked in the head, okay? You can't be. Like, we have dated trash, and we love Yang, but, like, even Yang wouldn't do this. Even Yang has standards, and that is saying something. When Yang thinks you are fucked in the head, that is a problem. And I'm pretty sure he made that comment, not exactly, not the phrasing, but still basically alluded to that in the alternative. Oh my God. I just have to talk about this right now because I can't handle the fact that he just killed 3 orphans. This is like, this is horrible. Holy shit. Why? Was this necessary, game? I mean, you already set it up at the end of the last, like, game that we lived with Henry and 3 adopted orphans. You can't just be like, they're not there, because someone would be like, what happened to the fucking orphans? And this is the only way to, like, not be saddled with 3 orphans while we're running from the Phantom. You know what I'm saying? But it could have been like, we left the kids with someone else. But then you'd feel guilty the whole time. But I still would rather feel guilty about, like, we left them in the care of somebody at the church and then ran away, and, like, the poor kids are sad, but at least they're not dead! Brutally murdered! Oh, game. They knew what they were doing. They're like, nah. We're gonna kill the orphans. How do you feel about your love story now? It hurts a lot, and I feel really fucking messed up now, things. What the hell? Oh, after laying a blanket over their bodies, he bent down to the floor and picked up a bloody card that was lying there. He picked up a nearby bag, emptying its contents, and repacked it with everyday necessities. He noticed a box of sweets on his desk, then put that inside the bag as well. His desk, but they were in my room. I don't know. Well, I mean, I'm sure he went around the house, but it wasn't long before we left the house, leaving behind the children to sleep forever. And the worst part is, it's not even like they died in their sleep or died of smoke inhalation or something. They were brutally ripped to shreds. So that was painful and awful for them. What is happening here? With the fuzziness of the scene going in and out. Do you see this? Oh, no, okay. Well, it's gone now, but whatever. I squeezed my eyes shut, trying to wake up. But the nightmare still wouldn't end. I jolted awake in bed and looked around. I realized I had finally escaped my nightmare, but found myself in an unfamiliar room. It slowly dawned on me that this was reality. Henry, my body was heavy as I sat up. I called to him weakly from the bed. How long did I sleep? He was sitting at a desk near the bed. It seemed that he was writing something, but he put it aside before approaching me. Could you imagine, though, then people go into the town and they're like, I haven't seen them in a while, and they go to the house and there's just 3 dead kids and we're missing, and they're going to think we killed the kids. You know what I mean? And had we been there, we would have gotten brutally murdered. And then I feel like there should have been a choice when, like, Sasha brings you the letter where you're like, yeah, I better go run after Henry, or you know what? It'll be fine. He'll come back for it. Type of a thing or something, so that you're there and that's a bad end, is like, you chose to stay and now you're dead. Like, but at this point you'd know. But still. Good lord. They're gonna think we murdered them, you know that? They'd be like, I just saw them in town though. That's fucked up. They were eating at a cafe. And after they murdered their children? Like, people have done more fucked up shit, so that's not good for us. He knelt down like he used to with the children and spoke to me, looking into my eyes.
It hasn't even been an hour. As soon as we arrived, you fainted. Do you remember what happened before then?
Yes. I tried to stay as calm as possible, but my voice was shaking. I wonder if this is too why Henry doesn't get close to people. Because, he knew we were probably being hunted by the Mafia. I don't think he knows about the Phantom yet. But, you know what I mean? He's avoided getting close to anyone because he was wanting vengeance for his sister. And I can kind of understand the mentality. If I get close to people and I start caring about people and making friends and whatever, those feelings are going to oh, my friends, and I'm having fun, and I'm going to forget about my vengeance. And when you really are angry and you want vengeance, you just want to focus on that. You know what I mean? Sometimes when you're sad, you're like, I just want to cry and wallow in my sadness to get rid of it, to just get it all out. I don't want to distract myself and be happy. Sometimes you want to. Sometimes you're I want to distract myself and be happy so that later when I'm yeah, I'm still sad, but maybe it's not as bad. You know what I mean? It's easing it in the background. I'm sick. I'm going to go to sleep and sleep through being sick. You know what I mean? But you're not going to just power through your sickness. We're going to sleep. But sometimes when you're sad or you're angry, you just kind of need to power through. You're I'm just going to wallow in my sadness. I just need to wallow in my sadness, okay? And for Henry, wallowing in his anger and his vengeance is you're not going to make connections and be pally with people and friends. You're oh yeah, wow, friends are great. I'm going to go murder everybody now. You know what I mean? That's going to take away from your rage and your anger, and you just want to keep piling it on. So of course he gets closer to the Mafia to just absorb that hatred. You know what I mean? He was living in that rage fuel freaking vacuum over there. And then I'm not sure about the people touching him thing. Or does he feel I don't feel I deserve for people to touch me? I don't know. Who knows what it is, but in a way, you wonder for like us, we're nice to everyone and we love everyone and everything's great. And people now, these children have died and we feel awful about it. And Henry's like, yeah, I was starting to like him too. And now, this is why I don't get close to people. You know what I mean? Like I feel bad for us. Don't get me wrong. But I also feel bad for Henry in this because it's like, he was just like, probably in that range of like, no, the children kind of enjoyed having me around and like, okay, this is our life. This is fine. And then the kids get murdered and he's like, shit. Like, probably our fault. Like, you know? Oh, anyway. I tried to stay as calm as possible, but my voice was shaking. I took a bag and left the house.
And now we're staying at an inn. And the more people there are around us, the easier it'll be to stay hidden. I used a false name at the desk, so we should be able to hide here for a few days.
He led me through the events in a steady voice, perhaps to keep me calm. But his voice was monotone to a point that it sounded so strange and foreign. Right? Couldn't figure out why it felt so strange to me, but his explanation continued. He's trying very hard not to, like, feel anything.
I apologize, but until we learn more about the situation, I'm going to be sleeping here as well.
Yes, I would prefer that. Too afraid to be alone. I expressed my anxiety without restraint. This is not the time to be ashamed of our feelings for him, but also the fear of being alone. And it's okay, we're not married, but that's fine, just stay with me. I can't see you, Henry. I might lose you too. Henry cast his eyes down.
I intend to investigate carefully to find out why the children were killed. And to find out how much the killer knows about us.
The one who killed the children. The red scene flashed through my mind. Spacey. I snapped out of my stupor. I looked at Henry. Is this because I went out? Oh no! If you hadn't gone out, you'd have died too. They would have killed everybody anyway. But that's so heartbreaking. It's like, this is my fault. It's not your fault, girl. But, well, it's probably Henry's fault, actually, 100%. Because if it's the Phantom, 100% Henry's fault. But, because, the man did kind of, like, try to... Didn't Henry actually kill the Phantom's family? Wasn't that his fault? Well, he was going to kill Sebastiano anyway. It took over his freaking life. So, this is actually Henry's fault. Shh, just the man seems so sweet and nice in this, and then you're like, I kind of forget about all the shady shit you've done too. We're playing a game about the mafia. They're all evil bastards and have done evil things. But again, it's one of those things. It's like the Dante effect, right? Where he looks at you with that angry face, and you're like, look at you, you're so angry. And again, he's just an angry, cute, fluffy little kitten. Like, you're growling at me and you're fine, and then you just forget that he's really good at slicing people up. And then you think about the shit that he did to you at the end of Orlok's bad ending, where he, like, sliced Orlok's, like, tendons in his leg so he couldn't run away, and then he basically took you for his own and did whatever he wanted to you. Against your will, you know what I'm saying? And you're like, and he sliced apart Raoul in one of the good routes in this game, and you're like, but yet, something about him when he looks angry at you, you're like, you're not intimidating at all, but you really should be, actually. And that's scarier. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, I'm not intimidated by your angry face. Look at you, you're so cute. And you just forget. Because he looks like a little cinnamon bun. You really just forget what a slicey bastard he is. And you're like, oh, shit. And like, Nicola, is kind of dangerous. And like, but Gil also kind of, yeah, he's charming. He probably kills people, but whatever. So he's charming. It's fine. Like, Yang at least just lets his freak flag fly, right? But every single one of these bastards murders people and is shady and kind of awful in a way. But you just kind of forget about it. You're like, oh, poor Henry, he's so sweet. He murdered Sebastian. He lit him on fire. The whole thing is, he did that. So, like, he brought this on us. So, like, but you just forget because they're so sweet and beautiful. Like, They're all kind of trash in a way. It's just different levels of trash. I'm not really sure, but I do think the Phantom is like the king of the trash. I'm sorry, Yang, you're gonna have to give up your crown because somebody out-trashed you, and that would be the Phantom. But anyway, I don't think this is because I went out. This is definitely a why? Why did this happen? Not because me, not because you. Again, if we hadn't gone out, we absolutely would have died too. So this is not because we went out. This is because Henry tried to kill someone and didn't make sure they were dead absolutely before you took their freaking life. Just saying, Henry. Jesus. And you were going to murder the mafia? God, you couldn't even make sure one dude was dead first. It just seems so funny because you look at Henry's little face and you're like, he's too sweet to ever kill anyone. But no, he's done some horrible things too. So I think it's why, not was it because I went out. So why? Good for me. Why? Why did the children have to be killed? I could no longer hold back my emotions. I still can't believe that it happened. I don't want to believe it. I don't think any of us do. But a part of me knows that it wasn't just a bad dream. My heart feels like it's broken. But more than that, I'm angry. I'm so angry. He listened quietly as I stumbled through the feelings that took hold of me. After some time, he eventually spoke.
They were murdered because of me.
Because of you?
Who could possibly do such a thing, and why? I don't know the reason yet, but I do know one thing for certain. And the children were innocent, and they didn't deserve what happened to them. If anyone's guilty of sin, it's I alone.
I mean, valid, true. We've never done anything wrong except for really fall in love with garbage, to be honest. Like, I love all the characters in this. Okay, I mean, Orlok I don't want to romance, but he's still a great character. I'm like, but everyone is trash. Like, every romanceable character in this is hot garbage. In, like, a beautiful, I mean, literally hot garbage. But, like, they're all kind of trash in their own way. It's the Mafia, for fuck's sake. Like, they've all done horrible things. Like, eh. His eyes were sunken. Inside was a darkness of infinite depth.
You should hate me too, if you must. You may kill me if you see fit. Maybe the least I could do to atone. And if possible, then please wait until after I bring you someplace safe.
Henry! I stopped him in a shaking voice. I love he's like, you can kill me if you see fit. Would you stop? He's such a gloomy little rain cloud. Henry, please stop. It's not your fault. Anguished tears fell down onto my hands. I don't think we know the whole story. She doesn't. You know what I mean? We did, you know. He stared at me, terribly pained, as I continued to cry. You know, the best part is going to be it's going to come out that it is his fault because of what he did to Sebastiano, and we're like, that still doesn't give you a right to kill orphans! And we're not going to be wrong. We're not going to be mad at Henry. We're going to be like, yeah, I mean, okay, what Henry did was kind of douchey, but you killed orphans! That just... Look, if you tried to stab Henry, kidnap me to get back at him or some shit, like, fine, okay, I can, like, justify it. But, like, you killed orphans! There is nothing that justifies that. Did he kill your orphans first? No, okay. Then you don't get to kill orphans. Why do they gotta kill orphans? What did the orphans ever do to you, these poor things? Good God. They get a bungo stray dogs where they blew up the orphans in the van. Like, why? What do you have against orphan children? Of all the children in the world, the little orphan children are the ones who definitely don't deserve this. Like, I mean, no kid does, but I mean, they're at the bottom of the kid list of who deserves this. Like, Jesus. I'm sorry for shouting at you. Just couldn't stop myself. Remembering the children's happy smiles this morning brought fresh tears to my eyes. I'd never before seen a murder so brutal. Murder of those I loved. I wanted to scream and cry as loud as my voice would let me. I barely restrained myself.
You don't have to force yourself to sleep, but please try to get some rest.
Yes. His caring voice restored some manner of calm. I wearily lay down on the bed. Henry didn't go back to the desk, but stayed near the bed, watching me. Make him hold my damn hand. The strange feeling from before crept over me. In my current state of mind, I couldn't begin to understand why. New chapter? Nope. Oh, okay. Oh, we're going to Henry! I was like, it just stayed dark for so long.
She eventually fell asleep. I could see her trying to control her emotions, but her mental state had reached its limits. I reached over and, unable to touch her, grasped the air above her fingers.
And then it's this, I'm unable, like, we hold his hand sometimes and that's weird, but this, like, he's unable to touch us. He can, he's just, like, not letting himself, but it's the same thing that's probably why he's like, well, if you want to, well, as long as I get you someplace safe, then you feel free to kill me, because, like, whatever, like, you know what I mean? He just does not value his life or himself at all, and it's just sad.
My heart ached as I looked upon her tear-stained cheeks. Were it possible, I would not have shown her the misery of that house. I couldn't be sure of her I could not be sure of her safety outside. At least if we entered the house together, she could remain in my sight. But what she witnessed left devastating scars. I was prepared for it. I understand the nature of revenge very well. I knew my past would catch up with me one day. But I underestimated. Even after I left Berlin, there was no shortage of people who would do anything for me, if only I asked. I even had someone keep an eye on the little house.
Oh. Huh. Is this... is it supposed to be Henry or is it the Phantom? Well, whatever. We gave the Phantom Henry's voice. What are we gonna do now? Wait a minute. I did not think that one through. I mean, I wasn't... Anyway.
Sheltered from view in the countryside. If anyone had approached the house, we'd have known immediately. I told them to take appropriate action if the event arose. Even now, there's been no word from the watchman. He must have been killed before the attack.
Okay. We are Henry still. I was like watching the house. We live there. What?
Maisie was supposed to be home with them. Her survival was nothing short of a miracle. I was grateful for it beyond words. If I had lost her, I would have been broken. Completely, irrevocably, with no chance of ever healing.
Then God damn it, just touch me.
An unfamiliar emotion strengthened inside me as I watched her sleep.
An unfamiliar emotion. It's called love, stupid. You'd think you would know it because you felt love for your sister. I mean, that was like a familial love, so it's different, but...
You're the only one now. Promise to protect you. Protect you, and no matter what. I need to secure a safe place for her first. He said if we needed any help, we should seek out the church.
Emilio! Sorry. That was Emilio. I'm gonna miss that. You now know if there's ever a character named Emilio in any game. We just can't not scream that, but...
I almost immediately decided against it. Emilio was sincere when he gave me that advice. I don't believe he would ever trick us. But not everyone at the church can be trusted. In seeking an ally, we may find ourselves among enemies. And there was only one place I could turn.
The Berlone Mafia? Because they're already your enemies, so in seeking allies, you find enemies. When seeking enemies, you find allies? The reverse, right? Oh my god, he's so going to the Berlone Mafia. It's going to be so great. Oh, we aren't... Oh no, never mind. It was so gray in the background, I thought we were going to the next chapter, but... I woke up. I must have been having a bad dream. Heart was pounding. With shaky hands, I moved to sit upright. Henry? I looked around the small room. Huh. I was the only one here. I hurried out of bed, but only stood frozen. Where would I even go? I had no idea where Henry could have disappeared to. I bit my lip with frustration. Henry! I ran over to the door and clung to him. I love when we shock him. I thought I was all alone.
Forgive me. I didn't mean to worry you.
Henry gently stroked my head. I was startled back to my senses. I'd clung to him so desperately, and he touched me with tenderness I could hardly believe.
I went out to pick up a telegram.
He explained before I could even ask.
I secured another room at a nearby hotel and directed correspondence to be delivered there.
Was it from?
An ally. If something happens at that hotel, we'll know to move on right away. Staying here should be safe enough, but having the additional cover will help. I want to exercise every caution.
Understand. He spoke to me in a very, very soft way.
I'm sorry for leaving without telling you. I thought I'd make it back before you awoke. Instead, I worried you. Sorry.
I suddenly understood the strange feeling. The one that had persisted since our arrival. Are you pushing yourself too hard?
Not beyond what's possible. I'm doing what I have to in order to be safe. It may be tiring, but still within my limits.
Henry's tone was the same as when we still lived in the house. No, he was even more kind. That was what struck me as strange. Because of what happened to the children, he spoke to them in this very same manner. Even when he kept his distance from them, the care that he showed them was real. Still calm, even after seeing the tragedy that befell them. Okay, you're freaking out and breaking down, and he is just shutting everything away to try to drag us along. I mean, I'm just saying. He's processing it in his own way. In fact, he was calm every day that we lived in that house. Are you really okay? No, I mean, he's tortured inside. He's calm every day. I mean, he's torturing himself all the time.
If you're feeling so worried, shall I sleep here with you?
What? Henry gave me a somewhat troubled smile. His expression was unmistakably Henry. But normally he wouldn't dare say such things. I looked down to hide my distress. We don't have to sleep together, but if you don't mind, you hold my hand.
Yes, of course.
Henry kindly accepted, making me feel even more confused. Even before stroking my head again, he asked me politely if he could, as though he felt that his hands were dirty. That touching him was something that shouldn't happen. I don't understand what Henry's thinking at all. He's so angry and ashamed of himself that that's exactly it. I'm too dirty and filthy and I've done horrible things. You do realize I have fallen in love with everybody else in the mafia, and have you seen what they've done? They're not really that ashamed. Every once in a while they'll have that, I've killed people, and you're like, yeah, I know, and they're like, oh, okay. Gonna feel slightly guilty about it, but yeah, I mean, and Henry is the one over here who is super guilty about everything. Despite the fact that he was planning to take down an entire fucking town. I'm just saying. You're like, sweetie, I fell in love with Yang. He feels no guilt for anything. It's poor Henry.
After watching Spacey fall asleep, I returned to my letter. I didn't know how long it would take via airmail, so I entrusted it to someone I knew. Most of the preparations are complete. We'll be able to escape from France before he finds us. I noticed something at the bottom of my bag. A colorful box. The box of sweets that was on my desk. When I opened it, I found 2 neatly folded handkerchiefs inside. The embroidery on each of them was simple. This is a lily of the valley.
Lily of the valley, a flower symbolizing the 1st of May in France. Muguet de Mai? Anyway, something I am assuming is May. Is a French tradition where one offers lilies of the valley flowers as a gift of good luck. Uh-huh. I was assuming the colorful box that was on his desk, I'm like, that sounds like it's left a gift by the Phantom. Well, this is interesting.
My My fingers tightened around them, and the handkerchief shook in my trembling hands. And the children, I wanted them to have the peaceful life that they deserved. Rather than live alone, without parents, I thought they'd be happier with us, even if they couldn't stray far from the house. And yet, it's resulted in this.
And then he's like, I was trying to do something nice, and look what happened. But that's not going to help the fact that he feels like he feels like a complete and utter dumpster fire. Listen, Henry, you've done some horrible shit, but so has everybody else. Okay, fine. You're not as much of a dumpster fire as Yang was. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Or the Phantom is, and my tablet just slid off my chair. Holy shit. Like, it sits in a precarious spot, to be honest with you. Like, it kind of like, I have to sit it kind of on the arm and kind of on the seat, so it just slowly slides. But I usually catch it, and this time I just went, and I was like, okay, bye. My eyes fluttered open as I heard Henry's bag rustling. He was looking at something he pulled out, not noticing I was watching him. It was a small box once used for sweets. I saw something had been written all over it with crayon. Oh, it was from the kids. I was okay. Which is like written all over with crayon. Oh. That's why she wanted Colette wanted that piece of fabric. They were making us little handkerchiefs? Stop it! Because isn't that what Sasha said? Like, we're gonna have a surprise when you come home. And it's like, oh, okay. Oh, no! I was literally, when he was thinking about the Lily of the Valley thing, I'm like, why would the Phantom have left 2 handkerchiefs for you? And why, it didn't occur to me until I saw the crayon part, and then now here. To Henry in space. And it's also funny because, obviously, her real name in the game is Liliana and then Lily, and that's where we're Spacey in space, right? But he never everybody else eventually goes to space. Just shorten your name, your nickname. He's never called us that. I wanted to point that out before when I was thinking about it, but I kind of forgot. It's like he's always like, Spacey, Spacey, Spacey. And now in every other game, our name is Spacey, but in this one, they specifically give you Spacey, and then they're like, give yourself a nickname type of a thing. But he doesn't ever call us, quote unquote, Lily, which would have been what everyone else calls her, you know? Yeah, here you go.
It's a secret. And then when you come back, there'll be a special surprise for you. Oh.
I wasn't thinking about that when he grabbed the box. I assumed, I'm like, why is he grabbing a box of sweets? That's strange, but okay. Children made them for us. They must have poured their hearts into it. The burst of happiness I felt was short-lived, soon replaced by a hollow sadness. The cruel reality of it was crushing. I clenched my jaw to suppress a sob. Just then, the sight of his face in the dim light almost made me gasp. He was holding the handkerchiefs tightly with a cold expression. Dark flames burned in his eyes. Because he's frickin' pissed that someone killed his orphans! Instead of just being like, oh, okay, he's like, how dare you? Oh, that's kind of cute, though. A look of fury. I realized that the reason he appeared calm, even after losing the children, was he was holding back the rage that threatened to burst out of him at any moment. Yeah, because, somebody has to... we're dealing with the trauma, and we're sad and angry and upset, and he wants to stab people, and, neither one... He's got to, suppress that so he doesn't stab people, because we're not in the right frame of mind to be like, no, don't. We'll be like, do it! Do it! There was no way I could speak up now. He was trying so hard to hide his grief from me. Couldn't force him to share it. But I think it's nice that she kind of saw that, because I feel like, yeah, she would probably know. I'm sure he is feeling sad about the children. He's just hiding it. But now kind of knowing just how infuriated he is about that, it's like, okay, it's kind of sweeter. You knew, you're like, I'm sure he's upset about this, and he's just hiding it and putting it down and just like, nope, I'm gonna be calm about it. And like now you know just how angry and you're like, that's so much more precious. You know what I mean? Like you know he feels bad about it. But seeing how mad he is, you're like, yeah, no. Just have to love him a little bit more, you know? It was up to him what he chose to reveal. Discussing the children would only bring him greater suffering. I shut my eyes and pretended to sleep, even though I knew it would be impossible. Come to think of it, the box wasn't the only thing that he brought from the house. The letter, I feel like, was from the Phantom. What was written on that card? I was too distraught to ask him before. Meeting, too. For a hot second, I was scrolling up like, oh, okay, we're going to the meeting thing. And I saw create a save file, and I was like, because when my tablet fell and it flipped over, like it scrolled down too far. Like it scrolled up further. Okay, never mind. Meeting 2, yeah. Hi, could you not sit there? Could you come here? I found a common thread among the victims. All of them were former employees of the casino. Oh, yep, definitely the Phantom.
Oh, a casino, you say?
Many left town after the casino shut down, but some of them have been found dead or have otherwise gone missing. I see. There is one person who comes to mind when I think casino. Hey! Don't you dare blame Henry Gilbert!
Oh, you believe it's the direttore? He's traipsing about, silencing his own men?
It's too late for that. If he had intended on doing so, he would have done it long ago. Besides, I'll still be with her even now. Don't be jealous. Hard to get any murdering done when you're on your honeymoon. There's a possibility he's employed others to carry it on his behalf. Regardless of who the killer is, bodies is unnecessary for simple silencing.
Revenge, then? Or perhaps the art of separating the truth from one's lips?
Sheesh. There aren't enough to work these days. Even in this line of work, can't we have a moment of peace for once? Can't we just, like, have a decent day, like an outing at a park with, like, gelato or some shit? We have to stop killing people. I mean, I'm just saying. Everybody. I mean, they're all buddies, so it's just kind of funny. And it's like, I just want them to go skipping through a theme park together. Like, there's Hakuoki's Sweet School Life, which really needs to be localized, by the way, okay? Where it's like a high school setting. You know what I mean? Like, they're all, like, professors and students and shit like that, right? It's like a modern day. I kind of want that now with the Piofiore boys. Like, where you're like, we're just normal, and, like, Gil's, like, just some freaking CEO boss dude. And, like, Oliver would absolutely still be, like, a tax accountant / lawyer or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he'd still be Oliver. Like, I do not know what Yang would be doing. Like, I really don't. I'm just trying to think of, like, the most absurd thing for him to be doing. He's gonna be that, like, fortune teller in a street corner or some shit. You know what I mean? Like, they're just random normal people. Like, we're just a normal, like, girl about town, like, not related to the church or anything, and, like, I just want to see it and just be really freaking weird. You know what? I just want to be, like, a different character, main character, and have them just, like, isekai'd into, like, fucking modern day, and they're like, what is happening? What are you talking about? What do you mean? World War II? What? Like, totally fucking shocked that it's like, it's 2025 now? They really need to do Piofiore 2026. Like, they need to just wait a couple of years and, like, write it and then just, like, release it and be like, we've been prepping for this. Oh my god, what if that's the big bamboozle? That's what they're doing. Coming to America, they're all gonna, like, go to America to, like, settle in Chicago, but then they get, like, freaking isekai'd into, like, the modern world, and you're like, excuse me, what? Why do you all dress like 1920s gangsters? That's weird. Why doesn't anyone pay me for these ideas? Because they're fucking brilliant. You would play it and you would love the shit out of it, and you know it. That's how we milk the cash cow that is, like, the same game over and over. I'm just saying. I was too distraught to ask him before. If something had been written on it, It must be something for me or Henry. I'm sorry, Bird. Okay, it's still a few minutes.
Miss Spacey, I have something to tell you.
Several days after we arrived at the inn. What is it? I've been observing Henry carefully since the day I witnessed his rage. Since then, Henry's made sure to stay with me, save for one time. When he stepped out late at night. He left his belongings in the room, and when he returned, I pretended to still be asleep. Wonder if there's something he doesn't want me to know about. Henry spoke to me in a steady voice.
We're leaving here tonight. I want you to be ready.
Where are we going?
To Berlin.
We're like, my hometown, where I had left my loved ones. There were moments when I couldn't help but remember it, but I didn't think we'd ever return. Is the person you're contacting frickin' Sister Sophia? Because absolutely, she'd totally be a bro in this situation. He stared at me silently. Are you hiding something? Okay, I feel like both of these are valid. It's too dangerous. Because everybody in Berlin wants to kill you. Because you were trying to kill them, but also because you kidnapped me and disappeared. So, like, me being the keymaid and, like, everybody's mad at you for multiple reasons. So, this is valid. And are you hiding something is also true. I feel like it's too dangerous is probably the, like, maybe the right one. I want to know if he's hiding something. But I feel like, are you hiding something? He's going to be like, what? No. And then he's not going to tell us. So maybe asking so upfront right now is not the right way to go. Oh! No! You know what? I forgot. I forgot she's got balls of steel in this. I forgot. Hold my hand. I'll go. Like, this girl's got stones. So yeah, never mind. Valid. I had a bad feeling about this. It seemed Henry was hiding something very important from me. Why Berlin?
And there's no need to be afraid. It's your hometown, after all.
Am I holding you back? Is that why you're leaving me in Berlin? My voice was shaking. Henry maintained his composure as he spoke. And it's so sad because we haven't had time to fall in love where he's like, I'm going to ditch you in Berlin so that you don't get hurt. And you're like, but I love you and we'll never have a chance to fall in love now. And then the mafia will be happy you're back and you're like, shut up! You can't have a full man harem if you chased Henry out.
And that's not the case. But we're going there for your protection. I want to ensure your safety first.
You think Berlin is a safe place? The fact that she's like, sweetie, girl, honey, baby, that's so wrong. I was about to argue against it when a sudden memory resurfaced. Someone once told me that the safest place in Berlin was next to him. You can't be looking for help from the Berlin Mafia. They were the only ones who could secure safety for either of us. No one else had the power. It was a dangerous gamble to take. I remember that Emilio said they weren't as angry as we thought they were. Can we really take him at his word? What? You're doubting Emilio now? The audacity! She's got stones, but also way too much audacity. If you return, they won't let you go free. That was how the Mafia was. I spent all my life there and had seen enough evidence of it. This is like the one time she's like, Mafia is bad. Really? What?
There's no need to worry. I have a plan.
What plan? I would need much more convincing than that.
No matter how long we hide, eventually the day will come. And there may be a risk, as you've said. But please accept that you must return for now. In addition, other reasons exist for doing so.
What do you mean? After a slight hesitation, he searched my face as though to gauge my emotional state.
And do you remember that day? And there was a card left at the house.
Yes?
If you don't wish to hear any more, it's all right. But if you do want to know,
you better fucking tell me. Please tell me, Henry. I looked back at him without hesitation. I want to know.
I understand. And the person who left it summoning me to come to Berlin. Seeing
that I was beginning to panic, Henry quickly spoke in the same steady voice.
Things will only get worse unless we act on it. We're dealing with a madman who'll stop at nothing. If I ignore his message, he'll soon take extreme measures to lure me out. And just like what happened at the house.
My mind showed me the house soaked in blood. It was difficult to recall any happiness we may have had there. Every memory was stained red.
I've no right to say that I wish to avoid any innocent people being harmed, but we cannot allow him to remain at large. My concern is that his next target is likely...
I felt something in his gaze. A hint of fear. Me?
Yes, most likely. If his ultimate target is me, anyone beside me will be in danger.
And if you leave me anywhere, I'm still going to be in danger because he's still going to come after me. And that's how we're going to fall in love. Okay, perfect. I got this. Cool. Got it. You know what I mean? Like, we're like, Henry's going to abandon me and run away, and I don't want him to because I kind of love him. And he's like, I'll leave you in Berlin, and then, like, I'll deal with this shit, and then whatevs. And then, like, but the Phantom's still going to come after me and kidnap me. I'm just saying. His eyes were still sunken from the ordeal, but they seemed to be full of conviction. I noticed something in the way he spoke about the possible suspect. Do you know who it was who left that calling card in the house? Who left that card in the house, sorry.
I have my suspicions.
His angry face. In that case, I need to ask once and for all. As dangerous as the Berlin Mafia was, I could not see them doing anything this horrific. I mean, okay. Yeah, to orphans. They might do shit like that. Well, okay. No, Dante sliced up Raoul for his own, because Raoul was trash, though. Hot, but still kind of trash. But, like, yeah, none of them would actually slice up orphans and butcher them and do that, you know, and torture them like that. No. Straight shot to the head if they were going to take out orphans. I'm just saying. They have, like, I don't even think Yang would slice up orphans. I'm just saying. They've got some moral fiber for Mafia. Anyway. However, they still had a reason to come after us, and they could kill us if they wanted to. Whoever took the children, do you think they were with the Mafia? Henry looked down with some regret, but his voice was neither angry nor saddened.
It's not their style of killing.
Thank goodness. I was relieved by his answer. Well, that's kind of terrifying. Though I still harbored doubts about returning. If the Mafia had it in their minds to do the same to Henry... Letter! Ooh, or Dante. Did Dante get the letter? And Dante, I'm back the next meeting. What's wrong? I received a letter. I handed the contents to Nicola. There were several sheets of paper and a blood-stained card. See you in Berlin? Look at the letterhead. I want to hear your thoughts. The truth be told, they're not good. He looked over it with a deep sigh. I cannot believe Henry reached out to Dante. If the Mafia had it in their minds to do the same to Henry, I needed to stop it from happening. I couldn't allow another tragedy to happen, especially because I lost my orphan children that I adopted, and then you're going to kill the man that I love, but I haven't admitted to myself that I love. I'm just saying! Dante, no. Dante, no! Anyway, so I'm going to wrap this part up here, and we are probably going to have our first run-in with the I was going to say confrontation, but it's not really confrontation. If we, like, phoned him up and we're like, hey, we're coming into town. Need a place to crash, Dante. That cool. All right, nice. You know what I mean? But we're probably going to have our first interaction with them in the next part, I would guess, maybe. So I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.